Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It is currently 9:32 p.m. on this cool early fall Wednesday evening going into Thursday. It is currently 69 degrees outside, and I am going to vlog for a while, and then I'm gonna go and meet my good Judy Valerie at the casino. I think she's already there. And I told her I was gonna vlog for a while. I was hanging out with Alex. He was doing some work stuff, and we were just hanging out in the bed with the dogs. So, he's got a bunch of stuff that he's doing. So I was like, well, I'm gonna go vlog now, and then I'm gonna meet Ballerini at the casino. So, I'm excited. We'll have fun tonight. And it's been a good day. I got up today and did a bunch of stuff around the house. And then, well, last night I finished the Paula Hawkins book, which I never feel conflicted about rating a book. Like, I never feel like, I just give it whatever, you know, it's like no big deal, right? But like, I really felt conflicted about rating that book last night. First of all, you guys, I keep on like biting my mouth over and over and over again, and it's like, it kind of hurts now on this side. And so I know that my lisp is back full time, but oh well. So I finished the Paula Hawkins book last night. It was good. Here's the thing, right? Like, I don't know if you're a reader, if you have fallen in love with an author like this, but like, I was trying to think of somebody else that's like similar to this for me, and John Green is kind of like this for me. So I totally fell in love with Paula Hawkins when I read the book Girl on the Train. I hadn't read anything like that in a long time. It just was like such a great mystery thriller. And I really felt like I knew the character and whatever. If you haven't read the book and you've only seen the movie, you have to read the book. Like, the book is, it's very similar. Like, the movie adaptation was fantastic, but like, the book is really good. So, why is it whenever I drive by McDonald's, even as a vegetarian, on a fall evening, that like a Big Mac with that Big Mac sauce and those sesame seeds and a large fry and a Dr. Pepper and an apple pie sounds so good. I don't know why that is, but like, that just sounds like a fall meal to me. I don't know why that is a fall meal to me, but it is. Or a quarter pounder with cheese. But anyway, so I loved Girl on the Train. And I think like I even kind of like forced myself to like Into the Water, which was her second book. Like, it was really good too, but it was like a really sad book. And what I realized reading this one is that Paula Hawkins writes really sad characters. Like, the characters are just, they have sad lives. And this one was like really sad. And there was an alcoholic character that had passed in the book, and it just, I don't know, it just was like, she writes a lot about like addiction in her books, but not like from a recovery point of view, from like an addiction point of view, you know? And the year that I read Girl on the Train, there were like 3 books that all came out where like substances were an issue. Like, The Woman in the Window was one of them, Girl on the Train was another one, and then there was a third book, and I think it was the Sarah Pinborough book, Beneath Her Eyes or Behind Her Eyes, or whatever that book was called, which I liked that book as well. And I know that that's been made into a show, and I haven't watched it yet, so maybe I'll do that when we go to Vegas. Anyway, I really liked the Paula Hawkins book. Like, Tanya and I were talking about it, and I said, I don't really know what to think of it. Like, not a lot has happened. Well, in the last, like, fourth of the book, a lot happens. And the mystery kind of, like, comes full circle. But it's never, like, a mystery that you're that surprised by. It's never like a, like, oh my God, one of those. It's never like that, right? I mean, it all makes sense in the end and works itself out. And I didn't feel like it was rushed. I felt like it was done very well. And I thought that the characterization, the building of the characters were fantastic. There was a character in there and her name is Irene, and she's like this older lady, and she's very nice to this young girl that gets caught up in all of this. And there's like this one scene when she like has her like go upstairs and take a bath, and then she like makes up a bed for her and stuff. It was just very homey, and there were some just really neat scenes in the book. I just didn't love it as a mystery. I would have loved it more as like a character study, and if it was a character study, I probably wouldn't have read it. You know what I mean? I am definitely somebody that is more character-driven than plot-driven, but if I'm going to read a mystery or a thriller, there's got to be, like, a really good mystery or thriller. And there was. I mean, it was a whodunit, but, like, I wasn't, like, I felt like the last quarter of the book, or last half of the book, like, I already knew who did it. And I felt like you were supposed to, as the reader, already know who did it. It wasn't, like, this, like, oh my God, you know, kind of, like, deal at the end. So I ended up giving it 4 stars out of 5. I thought it was fantastically written, though. That was the thing. I was like, it is so well written that I like, and I love Paula Hawkins, that I really struggled giving it 4 stars. And I almost went back. I may have gone back and given it 5 stars. I don't know. I should pull in here and look and see. That would be so funny. Because I really like, you guys, I ended up giving it something, and then I was like, I ended up giving it 4 stars, and then I was like, should I change it? And I feel like when I got home, I changed it. Maybe I did. I don't know. We'll see. This will be so funny. If I change it to 5 stars, I really don't remember doing that, but because I know originally I gave it 4 stars. I'm getting ready to drive right by the crumble cookies. I sprayed on some Monn No. 9 Bleecker Street, and I hardly ever wear it. I'm trying to like only buy certain, well, I actually bought a new cologne tonight, but it wasn't super expensive. Hold on a second. Okay, this will be so funny. I'm trying to only buy like a few colognes throughout the year and make them nice ones that I really, really enjoy, and then not use them as much. My daily go-to cologne is still Chanel Blue. Oh, I haven't even put in here my new book. Okay. Let's see what my rating was. Come on, Goodreads. Nope, I left it at 4 stars. I need to put my new book in here. I'm reading the true crime. This is another one. True crime book for True Crime Book Club. Couple found slain. Which I'm totally not into this book at all. What's the rating on this book? I'll be really interested to see. 3.65. Well, I'm right now only into the history of the family and these horrible parents. Just like not even into the book at all. But anyway, so I finished that, and then I really wanted to finish it because I wanted to, I don't know what is wrong with, I need to buy a new beanbag, I think. These beanbag things, you guys, are like fantastic. Is Crumble Cookies still open? Are people still going to Crumble Cookies? They can't be still open. Seriously? Yeah, they're open. There's nobody in there right now. Oh, there's one woman in there right now. There was hardly anybody in there when I went there today. So I finished that book, Slow Fire Burning, by Paula Hawkins. I would recommend it. Like, if you like mysteries and thrillers, like, especially if you like ones where, like, the characters are really well developed, I would recommend it. Because, I mean, it goes in and tells you the whole history of all these people. And, I mean, that part is interesting. That's just not the book that I was wanting to read. I was wanting to read a page-turner. You didn't know what was happening next. I can remember driving around with Girl on the Train and being, like, scared when I was, like, driving around listening to it. Like, I remember being scared driving around. I remember exactly where I was when I was driving in at the end, because I can remember the last night that I listened to it, I, like, drove around for an extra hour just to finish it, because I was like, I've got to finish this book. This book is so good. And you know, John Green was like that, too. Like, well, I was introduced to John Green first because I read Will Grayson. Did I read that first? I think so. Which was with him and David Levithan, who I love David Levithan's writing. He hasn't really put out a whole lot lately. He actually has a book out with another writer, but I don't love when he does that. Like, he did, like, Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist, and he did with, like, that Rachel Cohn, I think. I don't love when he writes with other authors, but David Levithan very rarely writes any books just by himself anymore. But the books that he has written by himself, I loved. So anyway, I was introduced to John Green, I believe, through Will Grayson, which is about these two guys, and their names are both Will Grayson. It's a really good book. So anyway, it was one of the very first young adult books that I ever read when I started reading young adult. And it takes place in Chicago, and anyway, I don't remember enough of it, honestly. I feel like it's like these friends go to Chicago, and then they, like, one of them's supposed to meet this guy named Will Grayson that he, like, the one guy's gay, and that's, like, the David Levithan character that he writes, and he goes to, like, meet this guy named Will Grayson when the other guy meets this guy named Will Grayson, but it's not that Will Grayson or something like that. I can't remember, anyway. So then I read Fault in Their Stars, and I sobbed, absolutely sobbed through that whole book. I remember Tyler Oakley talking about that book on his YouTube channel, and so I was like, oh my god, because Tyler Oakley was really into the John Green books. He got to go on the set of Paper Towns and everything, so I was like, okay, I want to read this John Green book, right? And I knew who John Green was because I used to watch the Vlog Brothers back in the day with he and his brother Hank Green. I used to watch them so long ago that I called them the Vlog Brothers. And they're really, like, one of the first people that, like, they're, like, some of the first people that ever started, like, doing vlogs on YouTube. And they started VidCon, and they're, like, back in the day. Like, they've been around on YouTube from, like, for a very long time. I have so much coffee left, you guys, in here, and I brought a Diet Coke with me. I'm not gonna need all that. So, anyway, So then I ended up reading all of John Green's books. I don't know what order I read them in. I think I read next Looking for Alaska, which is so interesting because Looking for Alaska is sometimes many people's favorite John Green book, and I just did not love it. I thought it was very depressing and sad. I just didn't love it. It just wasn't my favorite. I read An Abundance of Catherines, which I think is his first book, and I really actually liked Abundance of Catherines a lot. I liked Paper Towns. Paper Towns is probably my second favorite book of his, next to Fault in Our Stars. Did I say The Fault in Their Stars? The Fault in Our Stars. How could I forget that? And actually, The Fault in Our Stars, the movie, is really good too. And you know what? I remember when the movie came out, and Alex hadn't read the book, and was it Fault in Our Stars or was it Paper Towns? It was Fault in Our Stars or Paper Towns, but I feel like it was The Fault in Our Stars that Alex and I went to go see. It had to have been because I was like, did The Fault in Our Stars come out before Alex and I were together? But I read it on the front porch of the condo, so, and I didn't move into the condo until Alex and I were together, so it had to have been then. And I took Alex to go see that movie, and he was like, why didn't you tell me this was like a tearjerker? I was like, well, didn't you know what it was about? And he was like, no. I then ended up watching later that Red Band Society on TV about that Kids Cancer Award. You guys, that show was so good, and it got canceled. I was so sad. I thought that show was so good. It had that girl in there that looked like Winnie Cooper from the Wonder Years. I loved that show, and I don't know why all the shows I watch get canceled. I don't know why. Now I only watch shows that you can binge watch. Well, actually, now I'm really into the podcasts. We'll talk about that in just a second. So anyway, I read Abundance of Catherines, first Looking for Alaska, then Abundance of Catherines, then Paper Towns. I feel like there's another book in there, but maybe that's just it. And I loved Paper Towns. The book is so much different than the movie, but I talked about that the other day. And then I waited, and I waited, and I waited for him to come out with another book. And he finally came out with Turtles All the Way Down. And I know people love that book. I know they do. I felt like that book was so trite. And I felt like it was, John Green felt like he needed to put out a book. And you know what, really? So many people didn't like that book that I think it really hurt his career, his writing career, because he hasn't put out a book since. Has he? I don't think he has. No, he hasn't. I'm almost positive he hasn't, right? He hasn't put out a book since. And so here it was, everybody was waiting for the next great John Green book, and I mean, I liked it because it took place in Indianapolis because John Green lives here. I actually, in a vlog one night, I went and looked at where he used to live. Remember that? But, it takes place in Indianapolis. It takes place like 10 minutes from here. All of his, like, Fault in Our Stars took place, like, right where I live. Like, if I had kids that went to high school, they would go to high school where Augustus Waters, in the book, North Central High School. That's where my cousin Caroline went to North Central High School, which is where Augustus Waters goes. And it was funny. I have a friend of mine that used to be a coach at Augustus Waters. He was a basketball coach a long time ago. And I said, did Augustus Waters play for you? And he goes, who? He said Augustus Waters. He was like, I don't know who that is. I go, he's from Fault in Our Stars. He played at North Central High School. He was like, well, I haven't been at North Central in a long time. He was like, but no, he thought that was funny. I actually did a video on my BookTube channel. The first year for BookTubeathon, they did a video where you had to, like, they would do video challenges every day, and you had to recreate, like, a scene in a book. And I went to where all of the scenes in The Fault in Our Stars were in Indianapolis, like the actual places, like where Hazel Grace, like, they had to come pick her up in an ambulance outside that gas station. I pass that every night. That's the gas station I pulled into the other night in Red Answers. It's like an 86 and Ditch area. Holiday Park is in the book. They actually filmed the movie in Pennsylvania because apparently, like, it's cheaper to film in Pennsylvania. There's not filming rights in Indiana, or I don't know what. But anyway, I know some movies have been filmed here because, like, Hoosiers was filmed here. My mom actually wanted, anyway, that's a long story, but my mom remembered that game from Hoosiers. Like, she was in, like, high school, like early high school, when that game started. She loved that game. Rudy, I think Rudy was filmed here too, wasn't it? About the football player at Notre Dame. Anyway, when Turtles All the Way Down came out, I was so disappointed. I just was like, this is not what I wanted to read. I don't even really hardly remember that book at all, except for that it was like this girl, then there was like a rich kid, and they were on the water, and anyway. But I did a review on it, and I know people disagreed with it, and they loved that book, so it is whatever. It is what it is. We all can, you know, disagree. We can all agree to disagree on our opinion about books, right? And then Hank Green, his brother, came out with a book, and the book was one of my favorite books I've read in the last couple years, even though I can't remember it. It's called Well, it was about this girl, and she was outside, and she took a picture with this thing that came out of nowhere, and it was called a Carl, and it was like out from outer space, and all these Carls landed all over the world. Absolutely remarkable thing. Oh my God, that book was so good. And I just read the sequel to it, what was it, 6-8 months ago, something like that, and it was really good too. Not as good as the first one, but it was good. And so I don't know, now John Green has some competition, but so that's kind of how I felt about the Paula Hawkins book. But I finished the book last night, and then I have to I started it today, the book for the True Crime Book Club, for a True Crime Book Club, which is called Couple Found Slain, and it's, well, I like looked up all of like the newest true crime novels that came out this year, and Mel and I kind of like announced them in the group and said, which ones do you guys want to read? And this one was the one that a lot of people thought sounded interesting. And honestly, it did sound interesting when, like, we were just reading it. But it's really not so much about, like, the case. It's what, like, happens afterwards in, like, psych facilities, and when these killers are, like, you know, put in psych units, and what happens to them while they're in psych units and whatever. But I don't know, it just, to me so far, well, first of all, I think, like, Mel didn't like the book. Then I saw somebody, Nikki from the book club, she didn't like the book. So there are two people that I really trust their opinion, and so I'm like, oh, I'm probably not going to like the book if they don't like the book, right? And so Mel and I sometimes disagree about books, but very rarely. Nikki and I are always kind of like on the same page about books, and so I'm like, oh, I don't know what to think about this. And so I'm going into this book already, and at the beginning of it, it even just kind of like, it's about this guy that kills his parents, okay? And he goes into someplace in Florida and turns himself in. But it's seems to me like, I don't know. I'll have to see what I think. I'll have to finish the book and see what I think. But anyway, I didn't start that last night because I hadn't downloaded it yet. That's how excited I was. I hadn't even downloaded it. I started it today, and I'm like an hour into it. But last night, I drove around until I finished Tom Brown's Body, the podcast. You guys, it is so good. It is so good and so well done. But then I got home and I'm like Googling all this stuff because it ends with this grand jury thing that's supposed to happen where they're going to indict these people and whatever, and like that never happens. And if the series just ends, like, I didn't understand it really. Like, I don't understand why he didn't do a second season, or like, I'm very confused by it. The first season was very well done, but like literally, I mean, the case is not closed or anything yet. And I mean, I get it. I had just watched that Relentless where that woman had, like, she had been on that case of, why can't I think of her name now? God, I watched all those episodes. I can't think of that girl's name that went missing. But anyway, she'd been on the case for Christina. What was Christina's last name? I can't remember. But anyway, for 10 years. Like, I understand after 10 years being like, okay, I'm done. Like, I got to put this out. Got to see if Netflix is going to buy it or Discovery Plus or whoever. Like, I got to be done with this for a while. And I really do think that Relentless will probably put out a second season. Because I feel like there's so much more there. And it ends on her getting a phone call, okay, about some information. So I feel like it opened up. Well, Tom Brown's Body is now, like, they've started a second season that has absolutely nothing to do with that. It has to do with, like, drug lords in Texas or something. I don't know. So anyway, and I'm not interested in reading. I like the single case series that take place over, and thank you guys for all the recommendations. I now have like 15 or 20, between 15 and 17, I don't know, recommendations of podcasts to listen to. I just started today Your Own Backyard. I'm literally like 10 minutes into it because I'm like, well, I got to first listen to my audiobook every day because I want to keep up with that as well, obviously. Because I'm like so afraid that I'll be like into these podcasts and that's all I listen to. Because I'm finding myself now just wanting to listen to these podcasts all the time. I'm like obsessed, right? And I do know this. One of the couples that we're getting ready to go on this couples trip with, the wife, like, her husband's not into it, but the wife and I are like, when we get together, we're like, ah, la, 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 la. And we are both so into true crime, and she sits at work all day long and just listens to true crime podcasts. So I know when I say to her that I'm into true crime podcasts, she's going to be like, well, I've got 500 recommendations for you. I know she is going to do that. So anyway, I'm excited about seeing her. Well, they live 10 minutes from us. We can see them whenever we want, but we don't see them very often, like holidays and stuff like that. We do like a Thanksgiving together and Halloween and stuff like that. But anyway, my friend Erin's really into true crime as well, but she and I hardly ever talk about it. Erin reads just as much as I do. She's kind of all over the place with what she reads. She reads a lot of popular stuff. That's why, see, on Peter's Book Club, I wanted to make sure that I was reading popular stuff so that when people are reading it, then I could talk to them. Oh, you read this? Okay, whatever. You know. But anyway, so yeah, I finished that last night, but it just left me with so many answers, or so many questions, and not very many answers. It left me with so many answers. It left me with so many questions, and I really don't know. Like, I was reading these, like, Reddit threads, and I was like, and people were like, oh, well, it couldn't possibly be this, and couldn't possibly, I'm like, I'm not so sure about that. I don't know. I have a lot of speculation about that case. I was looking at pictures of, like, the people that were, like, part of, like, I looked up, like, who the Tom Brown guy, poor guy that was killed, and then I looked up his mom was in some pictures, and then I looked up his brother was in some pictures, and then I looked up the investigator, Philip Klein. I meant to look up the sheriff, because he resigned after, like, the case was, like, had been turned over. And, that was interesting. I think he had just had it. I think he was just like, I am done with these people. These people have taken every bit of my life, and they think that he had something to do with it, and he may have. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the podcast was really well done, though, and it was very scary to, like, drive around, and it was all about this road in this small town of Canadian, Texas. Actually, somebody commented on my drama video and said that they were, like, they lived right outside of Canadian. The town is called Canadian, Texas. But it was all about this road called like Lake Marvin Road, and like they found his phone, and his phone was like in perfect condition. You guys, I'm telling you, if you want to listen to a true crime podcast, Tom Brown's Body is so well done. It's 8 episodes and they go by like that. Like one of them's 20 some minutes, one of them's like the intro, and then the other 6 are like 45 minutes long, 44 minutes, 42, 40 minutes, 45 minutes long, 44. They're all like really short. And they go like really quick. So finished that. Then I got up today and did a bunch of stuff around the house. Dogs and I slept in. And then I went to Crumble Cookies and I did a crumble. I may or may not have eaten breakfast last night at Hardee's too, because it was like I was up late and I was hungry, and that means I did. So anyway, then I went to Crumble Cookies today, and I did a review at Crumble Cookies of their cookies. I wasn't super impressed with their cookies this week, I have to say. Like, I really liked the waffle one, and the donut one was not very good. The old-fashioned donut. Well, you can go watch my review. I said the same things over there. I just wasn't that wowed by them. The banana bread one was pretty good, but other than that, I just like the fruity pebble one wasn't that good. It was just okay, and they were just okay, you know. So I did that, and then it was already late, and Alex had to work late tonight because he was putting a bunch of stuff together for something, which is why he's at home still doing it. And so I was like, well, maybe I'll just drive around and listen to this audiobook and try to really get into this audiobook. And then I was like, I need to, you know, do some more videos. And so I went home to like do all these videos, and I ended up getting so distracted. I have become such a part of this neighborhood, let me just tell you, talking to these neighbors and all this kind of stuff. But I got, I had all these, well, I have a bunch of boxes in the back from my post office box. That's what I did. I went to the post office and I got a bunch of boxes, so I'm going to open those tomorrow on my Peter Does Stuff channel. And then we had a bunch of boxes on our front porch when I got home. There was like an Amazon box, which was our dog food. And then there was also, what was the other 2 boxes? I don't even remember now. I opened them. One was a candle. That was a small box, so that was there earlier. There's 2 other boxes. One was Alex's. I don't know what that was. He opened it and I didn't see what it was. What was the other box? Or was I gonna wait until tomorrow to open it? No. Oh, I know. You know, when I wasn't like, some time ago, Alex got me, I wasn't feeling great, and he got me some Pedialyte, and it really made me feel like I felt hydrated. So the other day when I was at the store, I wanted to buy some Pedialyte, but I couldn't find it. So I ended up getting these packages. I also ordered some of like, they're like extra electrolyte, Pedialyte packages that you put in like water. By the way, that cup that I bought from the Meijer was junk. That it was like a kid's cup, and you had, I don't know how you just couldn't even get anything out of it. It was just junk. So anyway, but I bought the electrolyte, like Pedialyte packages too, that you just put into water. Because I thought, well, maybe if I was more hydrated, I'd feel like I have more energy and stuff. So I bought like 4 things of Pedialyte as well from Amazon, because it was like cheap. And who was texting me? And so those came in the mail today. The packages of the electrolyte. I bought some at the Meijer, and I bought some on Amazon. And then the Pedialyte came too. Alex is like, we have 3 of those in the refrigerator. I was like, we have 3, and he goes, of the exact same kind. I said, of the same flavor? Because I got like strawberry lemonade or something, and he goes, no, got not the same flavor. It was like, he goes, I think it's citrus or something, so we looked. So now I have like 5 bottles of it. Oh, man. These people people are looking at me because they're like leaving a salon and the salon is closed. And there's like one car out there. I'm like, just reading a text, folks. Just reading a text. That reminds me of my mom back in the day at the pool in our neighborhood. She was doing the backstroke. She was like, there's always people in the pool, and she goes, just doing the backstroke, folks. Just doing the backstroke, folks. Just doing the backstroke. Oh my God, I can't believe that I'm already at 30 minutes. It stopped. So, yeah, books, all that caught up, podcast, okay, all that stuff done. And then I came home, and then I was like, you know, I should do a rant video, because I've been wanting to do a rant video. And so I went to this parking lot right over here, and I did a rant video, and then I came home, and by the time I came home, Alex was home, and he was feeding the dogs. And he had brought in, like, I had left, like, some of the boxes out front, and he had brought the box, the dog food. No, is that the... I can't remember, but anyway, I think he brought the box of the dog food in. So then I got my stuff all done, and then he was hanging out in the bed upstairs, and I had a bunch of candles lit and everything, and then we just kind of hung out and talked, and it was nice. And he was working on some stuff, and it was just real relaxing. And then I left, and I like looked back at our house, and our house looked so cozy with the lights on. Oh, I watered all the plants today too. And I looked back, and our neighbors, she got a new roommate, and her roommate is like, Alex is like, she's real hippie-ish. I'm like, I mean, she's kind of earthy, but I wouldn't say she's real hippie-ish. She's got really long hair. She's a very pretty girl. And she had all these macrame plant hangers that she was like hanging on the porch. She's made their back patio so nice, and they've got candles out there, and she has like this lamp thing that has like a candle in it, and they were sitting out there tonight. And I don't know, it was just like I was working at the computer and they were out there talking. I mean, I can't see them from where I am, from our house, but you can hear them, and you can see the end of their patio, or their deck. And like earlier, my other neighbors on the other side, they were out with their dog. I think they were eating on the patio, and it was just real cozy in our neighborhood tonight. It was really nice. So yeah, it was fun. And I'm trying to kind of like burn through some of these candles that I have, because I don't want to just like throw them away or just like put them in a closet. If I put them in a closet, I probably won't use them again. But I have all those candles that I bought at Target, and I haven't even started using them yet. I took like 2 of them out, and I've used like 2 of them, and that's it. But I want to put them out and get using them. And so I have all these candles out. I'm like, I don't know what to do with these candles. I have like a birthday cake candle, and I have like a spa candle, and all the candles are next to, there's no like rhyme or reason to like the smell. Do you guys ever do that? Like, I want to have kind of like the smells planned out. I will tell you this, I don't know why in 13 years of being in this condo, and my mom having been in the condo before, that we never thought about this, but when you open the double doors to our bedroom, right there, before you go down the stairs, is like a 5-foot ledge. So like the stairs are like this. Like this is like stairs that just kind of like, is like a landing. We have like a linen closet there, and then there's just a landing, and then it goes down to another landing, and then it comes down the other way, right? I don't know why we've never thought of it before, but Alex bought a buffet table to put out there, because when he built my nightstand, he took the table that I had been using next to my bed for all those years, and he put it out in the hallway, and then he put sunglasses on it, and he put like those Scentbird things and whatever, so that like when he's leaving the house, he can grab a pair of sunglasses that he wants, and like the Scentbird and whatever for that day. So he ended up buying this buffet table. Well, I don't know why he bought it, because I've got 2 in my office. Do I have 2 or 1? I've got 1 in my office, and I mean, I'm not using it really anymore, so I mean, I could have just brought it home. But so we brought this buffet table, which we have 2 downstairs, because my mom had them in the house that I grew up in. These, do you know what a buffet table is? It's like just a long table with like 2 like skinny drawers, and it's where you like put like if you were having a buffet, you would put it on there, right? But a lot of people have them in their house just to have like when my mom had them, she had like 2 lamps on either end, and they were behind a couch. So anyway, Alex got this buffet table, and he built it, and he put it up there, and it's so nice, you guys. And he's got like pictures of Boo and Tucker, those ones that were sent to us from my review channel, and he's got some, like, one of my candles is up there, the Drama Club candle, and what else does he have up there? Some other stuff. So I took, because we rarely ever burn candles upstairs, and if we do, they're like in the bedroom. So I took obviously, because we didn't have a table out there before. I took this one, and it was called, it's from Bath & Body Works, and it was last year that I got it, and it was I'm sure many of you have already had it. It's Marshmallow Fireside, and so I lit it last night, and it was burning for like several hours. And I don't know what it is. I mean, we were both talking about it tonight. Alex is like, I really like the fact that burning a candle right there, it like keeps the smell of the stairway. I don't know what it is about that area right there. Or maybe there's not like vents, like air conditioning vents or whatever. But like, it has smelled since last night exactly like that candle in that area. And when I tell you that candle smells exactly like marshmallows on a bonfire, it is like, I don't know why maybe the Bath & Body Works candles, you have to burn in like a smaller area to smell them. But it was so fantastic, you guys. I mean, it smells so good in that hallway there going into our bedroom. It literally smells like you just like walked from a bonfire into like a sleeping bag to go to bed or something. It smells so good. And I'm like, oh my God, I love this. And so I was burning it again tonight. It's almost like, we don't have much of it left though. I am really glad that I bought, so if you didn't watch my Peter Does Stuff channel where I did like an unboxing, I bought on Amazon. I just assume that people that watch this channel watch that channel too. I don't know why, but they kind of go together. I don't know why, but I feel like they do. I bought a candle wick trimmer and then like a little digger that you can like, you know, go down there and like dig into the wax. And then a snuffer that you put like, look at the clouds, how pretty they are. The snuffer to put the candle out. And the candle wick trimmer, I am so happy that I bought it. I don't know why I didn't have one all these years, but it really does make a difference. It makes a huge difference. I feel like it, oh my God, you guys, oh, well, hold on a second. I feel like it puts off like more of a scent from the candle. Okay, so in my review channel, I think it was yesterday, I was talking about Angela, that woman from Appleton, Wisconsin, that like her video went viral because she was so mad about her peach Bellini candle. You guys know what I'm talking about? Or she wanted some candle and they didn't have the candle that she wanted and they only had her peach Bellini. Do you guys remember that okay. So somebody must have commented on her. She's still filming videos. Because there was like a year ago, I got kind of like, I went down the rabbit hole with her. She had done a video with Christine and Elijah Daniel. Do you remember them back in the day? Christine doesn't make videos anymore. I don't think Elijah does either. But anyway, they did a video with her where they went candle shopping. And I had somehow seen that. And then I was like, oh, that's what happened with her. And I started watching some of her. She does vlogs and stuff. So anyway, she is really kind of a sweet channel, honestly. And like sweet as in, it's like a nice channel. It's like, it's enjoyable to watch. That's what I like, is just watching normal people, you know, just regular folk. So anyway, I had mentioned something about that viral video. Well, somebody must have commented to her because she like reshared it on Twitter and said, thanks for the shout out. I was like, oh my God, she's such a celebrity. And she like retweeted my video. I was so excited. I know you guys are like, she's a celebrity. I mean, she's not really a celebrity, but to me, she kind of is, you know? It's like, do you guys, I heard, there's like all these articles I've been seeing come up about, do you know the Nirvana cover of the album where there's like a baby underwater and all that kind of stuff? That he's suing now Kurt Cobain's estate or like the Nirvana estate or something for all this money because he was exploited. Did you hear about all this? Okay. What's interesting to me about this is that maybe I'm wrong, but I remember when that album came out. That album came out like maybe right around when I graduated. Either when I graduated or within the first 5 years after I graduated. Because that's when grunge really became like big. And it was already big in Seattle and out in Washington, right? Because they called it that, the Seattle Sound and all that kind of stuff, right? Okay. I swear to God that like, I swear that like 10 years ago, I read some article like in Rolling Stone magazine or something. I swear, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I made it up in my head. I don't know. I swear I read some article and it was like him standing there and he was like an adult and he had like his arms crossed and it was like, baby from the Nirvana cover celebrates turning 30 or something like that. And he was real excited about the fact that he had been like in the album. And I'm like almost positive I read that article, and I'm like, how is it you were so excited and now it's that, I don't know. Did y'all read, do you know what I'm talking about? I was never like, back in the day, I know I'm going to really upset some people with this comment, but I was really never a Kurt Cobain fan. I actually, oh God, I just bit the side of my mouth. I actually thought he was really cute. I thought Kurt Cobain was so cute. He was kind of the kind of guy that I liked back then. Anyway, I thought he was so cute with his striped t-shirts and his little sweaters and stuff, you know, and his messy hair, and there was just like an honesty and a vulnerability about him. I don't know, I just thought Kurt Cobain was all, whenever I'd see him like on interviews and stuff, I always just thought he was so hot. But anyway, I did love, I always call her Courtney Hull. Her band's name is Hull. Courtney Love. I did love Courtney Love, and I know people don't like her and they think that she had something to do with his death and all that kind of stuff. I don't personally, but that's just me. But I did love like the Miss World soundtrack. You know what I was noticing the other day? I was watching that Bridesmaids movie. I can sit there and watch that movie a million times. I swear I can. I love that movie so much. And that guy that plays the police officer in that movie, I don't know what his name is. I think he's Irish. He is so handsome. That guy is so handsome. I remember this friend of Alex's, actually it was a friend that he was visiting this, well, he wasn't visiting this weekend, but he has happened to be up there. We were like talking about guys or whatever, and he was going through like everybody that we know, and he was like, they were making him answer like, Mr. Right Now or Mr. Forever. And it was like, Mr. Right Now meant like you could get it, you know what I mean? But Mr. Forever meant like you were husband material, like they'd keep you for, because you were like, you were a catch. And I remember like it was so weird because I had just met like all those guys that Alex went to college with, and I remember we were like standing in a bar and they were talking and they were all laughing and whatever, and he was like, yeah, Mr. Right Now, Mr. Right Now, Mr. Right Now. And I had like literally just met him like the night before, and he was like, husband material. And I was like, what? I always see that as a compliment, but I don't know, maybe some of you would rather be Mr. Right Now. But that guy on that show, the Bridesmaids movie, he is so handsome, isn't he? So cute. And real nice, too. Maybe it's just a character that I like. I don't know. But anyway, she was listening to the Miss World album when she's like getting mad in the car and she's driving really fast. You know what I'm talking about? When she like, she puts on her brakes because that armadillo or something's walking across the road. I love when that couple, they say to her, I can't think of what that woman's name is. She is so funny, that actress, that comedian. She is so hilarious. She's in those Pitch Perfect movies. But when she and her brother are like, we're going to invite you to not live with us. And she's like, I don't know what you mean. And they're like, you're not going to live with us anymore. Goodbye. And then she goes, she's not going anywhere. She will. Oh my gosh. Anyway, what was I talking about? I don't know. Oh, Courtney Love. I loved Courtney Love back in the day. And then I saw her in People vs. Larry Flint, and she was just so fantastic. And then she kind of cleaned herself up for a while. And she was like kind of a fashion diva, and I just was even more in love with her then. And, you know, I'm somebody that loves a comeback queen. She just was such a mess for so long, you know. And Frances Bean, her daughter, is beautiful. Have you seen her? Oh my God. It always makes you wonder, these stories of like these tragic celebrity stories that you hear about, though, you know, like, I mean, people lived and died for Kurt Cobain. I mean, next to like the Beatles, like Kurt Cobain of my era, like people went crazy over Kurt Cobain. Crazy. I can't imagine what it would be like to be like his child, his daughter, you know? I wonder what's going to happen with that Danny Lynn. I can't think of what her name is. Nicole. Amy, Nicole. I know somebody's yelling it at the screen right now. Why can't I think of her name? I love her so much. She was a guest model, and then she got real famous. She looked like Marilyn Monroe, kind of. Anna Nicole. I used to have all, well, I probably still do have all the seasons of that show on DVD, because I would buy them. Oh, that story was so tragic. Her son died, and she died. Well, now the dad has Danny Lynn, the daughter, and I think they live in Louisville, Kentucky, actually, or Lexington, Kentucky, which is like, Louisville's 2 hours from me, and Lexington's 5. He used to go to the Louisville, what's the race down there called? I can't think of anything tonight. I don't know why. Kentucky Derby. It's because I was thinking Louisville. It's not Louisville Derby. It's Kentucky Derby. I wear the big hats. But she's got to be like 14 or 15 now, I would think. God, that seems so weird to me that it's been that long since she passed away. So tragic and sad, isn't it? Whitney Houston and then Bobby Christina right after that. So tragic. It's still weird to me to think that Whitney Houston's not here anymore. Like, sometimes I kind of forget that she's not here. I had this friend of mine, he's passed away now, but he was like a recovery coach for like football teams and musicians and stuff like that. I worked with him back in the day. He was a really neat guy. And he actually went on tour with Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston. And I remember way before anything ever came out about the two of them, he would say, because Bobby Brown got such a bad rap, and he would say, it's not Bobby Brown. He's not, like, Whitney Houston's the one that has this horrible drug problem. Nobody believed it. Nobody believed it. You know, anybody ever said anything about that, they'd be like, Whitney Houston, no, she doesn't have any kind of problem and whatever, you know. And then poor Bobby Brown, I mean, I'm not saying that, you know, I feel like everybody, if you watch that documentary about Whitney, it's like nobody in her family would say anything. And they were all like, there's a one woman in there, and she's like an agent, I think. And she's like, everybody was benefiting off of Whitney, so they weren't going to tell her no. Because why should I tell her no and then lose my Mercedes and $500,000 house when the other cousin will work for her and they don't care, you know? Which is really sad and very enabling. I don't know, but that documentary was good. I watched that. I feel like I was in Mexico when I watched that. I watched it outside, I feel like, in Mexico, patio. Relax, chill, unwind. Walnut Ridge Family RV Sales. I watched Little House on the Prairie the other day. It was part 1, and then into part 2, I started watching part 2 as well, where they're like mining for gold, and this like old crazy guy is like, oh, gold fever, they're gonna become obsessed with money again. And I was thinking, it's so funny how Little House on the Prairie, like, those shows were like always had some lesson tied to them, you know? Probably why my mom let me watch that so much. We watched so much of that. And the Waltons. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Didn't they blow up the town or something at the very end? I can spend, like, forget Facebook. I try not to get on the Facebook because then I fall down a rabbit hole. I can fall down a rabbit hole of being like, what happened to all the people that were on, what do you call it? Little House on the Prairie. You know, Kyle Richards was on Little House on the Prairie. She was, though. She was. I was talking to Tanya the other night. We were driving around, and she said, we were talking about Kim Richards, her sister, and she goes, well, Kim Richards was just as famous of a child star as Kyle Richards was. I was like, On what Tuesday ever, Tanya? And she goes, what do you mean? She was in those Escape from Witch Mountain movies. I go, okay. I did love those movies back in the day. Do you know what I watched the other night? I started watching, this was when Alex was out of town, Bed Knobs and Broomsticks. I did! I have it on the Disney Channel. And I don't know what, I was like feeling real homey, and I was wanting to watch something real homey, and I was like, I have the VCR tape down in the basement, true story, I do. And I was thinking this when I started watching it. I was like, there is no reason for VCRs or keeping any of this stuff. I should just throw it all out, or sell it, or get rid of all of it. You know why? Because you can stream all this stuff for free now. You don't need any of it, right? Except for like Showgirls. You can't find Showgirls, but hell, you can find Bed Knobs and Broomsticks on 15 different things. People don't even probably know what Bed Knobs and Broomsticks is. With Angela Lansbury, oh my god, it's so good. And I was noticing that one kid, he's been in like 4 Disney movies. So anyway, the youngest one, I think his name's Charlie or some Paul maybe, I don't know. The girl, she's real sweet. And she's like, maybe she's a nice witch. And she's like, she is a nice witch. But anyway, she gives them the bed knob, and then you put it on the bed and you turn it, and it takes you wherever you want to go. I used to love that movie, probably because I couldn't wait to get out of my house when I was a kid. But I loved that movie so much when I was a kid, so I started watching it the other night, you know. I didn't make it very far in it, but my god, Angela Lansbury was so young in that movie. What was I talking about before that? Oh, Escape to Witch Mountain. I think those are on the Disney Channel too. I should watch those again. Those are really good. Those were good back in the day. And then there was this one that I love with Burl Ives, and it was called Earthbound. Did you guys ever see that? And true story, at my office, I don't know why, I still have it there. I got a bunch of videotapes there. Because I got one of those TVs with a built-in VCR. This truck just kind of came out of nowhere. I got one of those TVs with the built-in VCR, so I got movies there. And one of the movies I have is Earthbound, and it's got Burl Ives in it, and it's with this family, and I feel like Burl Ives is the grandpa that has 2 grandkids that live with him. I think that's the story. And then this mom and dad and their 2 kids, they land a spaceship into the lake right by where they live. It's like in Montana or Wyoming or something. Oh my god, I used to be obsessed with this movie back in the day. And there were a couple movies I used to look for all the time, you guys. Did you ever do this? Where you like Google these? Smoky Mountain Christmas with Dolly Parton was one of them, and now they show it every year, and I own it, okay? I think I own it on DVD, and I own it on VCR tape, and they play it every year, and it's on the YouTubes. Then the other one was Stone Pillow with Lucille Ball. I tried to find that everywhere. Found it. Then there was actually Angela Lansbury movie, and it was called, this is on the YouTubes too, something Christmas, One Christmas or something. It's about this, what's her name? Lee Remick, and her mother, do you remember? I'm dating myself. And her parents owned this store, and Angela Lansbury was her mom, and they're dead and they're gone. And then her husband's running the store into the ground, and she keeps on going back and forth from yesterday and back in time to today. And her mom, who's Angela Lansbury, drives this. Anyway, I loved that one. Oh my god, the Jaclyn Smith one, not One Magic Christmas. That one's real sad. Did you ever see that, where the husband dies? Anyway, the one with Jaclyn Smith, though, from the Charlie's Angels, I love that one. Something Christmas, The Night They Saved Christmas. Loved that one. Then another movie that I used to always try to find was, I thought the movie was called, and I looked for it forever, okay? It's got Cheryl Ladd in it. And I thought it was called I Saw What You Did and I Know Who You Are, because it's based on that movie, right? Because that was an original movie from back in the day. And it's these girls, and they're prank calling this guy. They get these guys' numbers, and then they have their friend, and they look him up at somehow they get the number from the BMV or whatever, and then they call these guys, right? And then they flirt with them. Well, they end up flirting with a serial killer, okay? And I swore, my friends and I watched it like one night in like high school, and I like fell in love with this movie. And I swore it was called I Saw What You Did and I Know Who You Are, because they would call him up on the phone. And I thought that's what they did, because in the original movie, they call him up on the phone, they'd say, I saw what you did and I know who you are, and then they hang up, right? Okay. The movie's called Lisa. I found it. If you look up Lisa with Cheryl Ladd, you guys, I'm telling you, the movie's scary. It is a made-for-TV movie. It is so good, but it is scary. I found that movie not too long ago. Anyway, I think it's on, like, just regular cable or something. But I'm always looking for movies that, like, you know, back in the day, like, I know my first name is Steven, that Lifetime Movie Network movie. You can't find that? Well, I think that might be on the YouTubes, actually. I'm always looking for movies that I used to watch back in the day, you know, that, like, meant something to me when I was growing up. And then I buy them, you know, on this, like, eBay DVD, and it comes, and it's, like, so scratchy, and they took it off of, like, a Betamax. The original Miracle on 34th Street. Do you ever seen that? Oh, my God, the original. It's so good. I love that one so much. Anyway. What was another movie that I used to try to always buy, though, and find, and then I could never find it? I don't even know. Well, you guys, I think I'm going to get off here now. I'm almost at my exit. So, is this the exit or is it the next one? It's the next one. So, I'm going to get off here now and listen to a little music, get me in the mood before I get there. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you! And I hope that you guys are having a magically amazing Thursday. And I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya! And for anybody that needs to hear it, one more I love you. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya!